Shalom everybody, this is a very special video. Last night we did a live on TikTok overviewing Yuri's elonot. Yuri is now up and coming mechubel who traveled all the way from the Netherlands to meet me and share with me his elon and for me to overview it and give him approval. He has recently started a YouTube channel called Kabbalah Academy, which anyone looking for the mysteries, I would encourage you guys to go check out there. In addition to that, as always, if you're seeking to get into the deeper mysteries regarding this channel or the authentic Kabbalah, you will find a link down below to skool.com/Y.I.R.A.H. That's SKOOL.com/Y.I.R.A.H, where we have over 500 lessons. But without further ado, I'd like to share with you all a glimpse of the review of the elon of Yuri from the Netherlands. Enjoy. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for people to join in, so these are the original sections describing the Adam elon and Adam kadmon. And what's incredible about what Y.I.R.A.H says is that Y.I.R.A.H states specifically that the Adam elon actually enters in through the first restriction and then stands before the Techamim. He stands before the abyss and actually begins to emanate that way. What I mean by that is it says that he stood before the edge of the Techamim, which in some places we call the Techom and in other places we call the Techiru, and this is during the process of restriction, and then ultimately he emanates the lower worlds, which are all from him and attached to him and through him. And because he's the first level, or the first partsuf that emanated from the Ein itself, he's identified as the Ein, and so therefore in a variety of different places the sages say that the Adam elon is the malbush of the illimitable. And that's where the idea of Israel my firstborn, and similarly in the beginning when Israel arose in thought, because all of this and the restriction is called machshava. And because it's called machshava, it means thought. And so therefore when Israel, we know as Yesh, the substance, of Resh, Lamed, Aleph, or the 231, these are the gates. And as a result of this, that's the divine pattern, as you know. That divine pattern is precisely what's being talked about here and what's being explained. The divine pattern was the form of the Adam elon. However, in essence, there is a bit of machloches, like a controversy regarding how it was first emanated. Was the initial primordial form the aspect of the 231 gates, or was the initial aspect of Aleph separates one from Shin? And the reconciliation to that is that it would be Aleph separates one from Shin, because the letters would enter in through a series of phases, 3, 7, and 12, as opposed to the tree on top of tree as we know, with the 22 letters. So when the 231 gates would actually emanate in and take the supernal form of the tree of the face in the Keter, the tree of the body, that is only after the initial primordial aspects would come in. And so then therefore the true primordial level would be this representation of the Adam elon. And as we know, the mother letters, because they are superior to the tree of life and superior to the sphere which we call emanation, being Aleph, Mem, and Shin, they personify the secret of what was said in Sefer Y.I.R.A.H, that the Rosh was from Aish, or the head was from fire, and the chest was from air, and the stomach was from Mayim, and so on and so forth, because the word head, or Rosh, contains Aish, fire, and the letter Shin. This is also what they said when Rosh is an allusion to Ehiyah, Asher Ehiyah, which was Keter, Chachma, and Bina, because Asher is a saruf, or permutation of the word Rosh. Right. And so then therefore Shin was personified with that. And so the direction of the Shin is Keter, Chachma, Bina, its base is Da'as. And then Aleph, of course, would be Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. Mem would be Netzachod, and then Yisod, and then the Mem Sofit would be Malchus. And so we find that the divine pattern takes in this. And all of this is called Yirah. And for this reason, Yirah is the gematria of Adam elon. And Adam elon is the exact wording that's used in Esoteric to describe the supernal man. And because it's, as we know, there's Adam and Adam. And many people think Adam, they think Adam Arishon. When we talk of Adam, we talk about Adam elon, the most primordial of primordials, because as Ramchal states in Kenot Hashem Zavaot, and as Chaim Vital states inside of Sefer Eitz Chaim, that the illimitable one placed himself inside of the supernal form of a man, a human being. And that is the supernal spherot, with an array of 10 spherot, although it comes to include Da'as. It'll be 11. Yep, and all of this is according to that. So this is very advanced material. Another very important thing to know, as you know about the 231 gates, is that they have the numerical value of 72, 63, 45, and 52. And that's the same numerical value as the word Tehiru, which were the primordial partsus of Abba, Ima, and of course we know Drampen and Nukva. And then the word Ein, which is the illimitable, it's Miluim, which has been made known to you, that refers to an emanation, is also the value of 231. Yep.
Good.
So, well, it seems like we are live. I don't know how many people are in the live or watching right now, but we will hopefully wait for a couple more people to come in, and then we'll get started. So if none of you guys know what is going on, this here is Yuri. He has traveled from the Netherlands here to share something and get validated or certified what he's been working on. So I'll let Yuri explain a little bit about himself and his journey here and how he came to be.
Yes, so my name is Yuri, and my path really started by looking at all the belief systems. Something was always off, right? Something was not adding up. And from here to there to Judaism. In Judaism, I came to find out that I didn't have enough understanding of the Hebrew letters and of the abbreviations. So I started translating for famous Rabbi Mendel Kessin, and thereby I learned to manage to get a certain basic knowledge of the abbreviations, and this is kind of how I rolled in. And from there I went to the Tanya, from the Tanya I went to the Kabbalah, and from the mainstream Kabbalah I found Yirah. And I can tell you honestly, there's nothing quite like it. So yeah, really fascinated by the crown jewel and the Aleph Mem Shin, of course, in awe. I had only one choice, is to fully dedicate myself to that and try to learn, be as good as a student possible, and go and work with the letters myself. So that's what I did, and now on my way to finishing the second scroll, Elon, and which we'll present to you in a little bit.
Yes, and so for those of you that don't know what an elon is, on my channel you may see these massive scrolls. They're 45 feet long. And elon comes from the Aramaic word for tree. It's basically a Kabbalistic roadmap of the divine science. And in order for you to actually be instructed in true and authentic Kabbalah, you must have an elon. So Yuri here, as he mentioned, is presenting his second elon. And he came from the Netherlands to bring this elon, so to check it and to verify it and to ensure that it is correct and true. And so what you guys who are watching here will witness tonight is an elon being revealed. This is something that's very, very, very rare. There are no Mekabalim, no real Kabbalists in today's day and age. Many people who call the term Kabbalah do a great disservice to it. Our sages say that a sage is preferred over a prophet. So when someone says that they're a Kabbalist, they're essentially saying, well, I can make the prophet Isaiah, or I can make the prophet Ezekiel, which is an absurd statement. However, during the times of Shlomo Melech, there was a school of prophecy, and therefore you could go to school to become a prophet in the same way you could go to school to learn engineering. The general idea is that there's a linear and methodology to obtaining these prophetic states. So how do we actually get to that? And that, of course, is through the divine science of the elonot. The elon is essentially the map, because Kabbalah is not a philosophy, it's a divine science. And these scrolls are the roadmap of that divine science. And it takes many, many, many years of study in order for you to actually obtain the merit to create one. And in order for you to be a Mekubel, you must create your own elon. And it doesn't mean just create, artistically express yourself. No, you need to show the science. Meaning, if you can think of a final exam, in order for you to have that classification as a Mekubel and be recognized by other Mekubelim who each have their own elon and each understand the divine science, you yourself must have this elon. So he's brought one, so I think this would be a great time to give you guys a show of that.
Yes,
So
this is the Torah.
We'll roll.
Yeah.
We'll roll this up out here. Malachi, if you will just grab this side, and then Yuri, I'll have you.
I'll stand on the side.
No.
No.
We'll have you explain it as we go through.
Okay,
So let's come this way. Where? Come follow me. We'll come into here. You guys can get a behind the scenes look. You guys can see all the Ark of the Covenant and everything else over here.
Yeah, we have the Michael statue.
Yeah, so you guys are seeing behind the scenes stuff no one gets to see. Okay, Malachi, if you will take this side of the elon and then begin to roll it out, we'll have you love come to the side so you can show this, and then Yuri, we'll have you explain what it is that you've shown.
So we start with the top piece, which shows various things. First thing you might notice, can be various things of course, the crown jewel is in here, depicted. So as we see, we have here the three mother letters, Aleph, Mem, Shin, right? To these mother letters are connected the 12 elemental letters. These are these 12 here. Then we have the 7 double letters, which are the restitutional, which I didn't point out. What you also can see here is Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, and Harai Mahemna, Melech HaMashiach, who wears the crown, center column, right, left. Okay, so I think that would be good to leave it with that on this part. Descriptions here. Here you can see a full tree and all the Sefirot are named in it. So this Keter, Chochmah, Bina, Das, the 11th, right? So Das is like not considered among the 10, but Das is the outcome of the unification between Chochmah and Bina. Okay? So a center column outcome thereof. Then we have this is the Rosh, by the way, which is the head. So then we have the next Parsuf, which is Zer Anpin, which is Chesed Gevura, Tiferes Netzachoid, and Yesoid, working upon the Malchut, which is the 7th. Here you can see this is the rose, Shoshana. What Yirah just explained to you also is here mapped out, where you can see literally that the Shin stands with the Yud comes from the Shin, and the Hey from the Aleph, and the Vav equals the Mem, and the Hey equals the Mem Sofit. So this one, you see here, Adam, Belial, and these are various processes. This is for me very technical still, so I think Yirah could help me out here. But what I can tell you is that this side is depicted Batzel. So Batzel are various Patsufim, Bila, Rachel, Zilpa, and Leah. Okay, Yaakov is also mentioned, and Joseph. This is very technical. I'm not going to dive into it deeply here, but this is really packed with a whole lot of information that is really way even beyond my scope. So, but here's the master who can teach about the deeper.
Sure.
Thanks.
Well, I'll trade places with you.
Right, sure.
You guys just hold this tight so it's not loose there. No, you got a good shot. Okay. So basically what he was explaining is that it's written Vayomer Elohim Yehior Ve'Yehior. In the beginning, God said, let there be light, there was light. And so there's this idea that reality came into existence through what we call the Lashon HaKodesh, or the Holy Tongue. Now, as with any language, it's an amalgamation of letters, and therefore our primary study begins in the secret of those letters. This is what's written. He wraps himself in light, and it's also written Y.I.R.A.H Elohim et Kitov, which means God saw the light, that it was good. This light doesn't just say Ha'or, it says et Ha'or. Now, the modern scholars say et doesn't have a translation, but et is Aleph and Tav, meaning the first and last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So what is being shown here is the array of the 22 letters according to the 3 mother letters, the 7 double letters, and the 12 elemental letters. Thus you'll see the word Ein. Ein is the first stage of existence. It means the illimitable. It means nothing. It's the infinite nothing. It's the absolute potential of all things, but the manifestation of nothing. And that was the first stage of reality. So the next portion of this is what's called the Simsum, or the restriction or contraction. Thus you'll see over here that it says Techomim ve'yamim. Techomim means the abysses, and Yamim means the seas. And these concentric circles are the contraction of the illimitable, the contraction of the endless light to create a vacancy where there was no vacancy, a space where there was no space. And these are the heights of each of these restrictions and the root, or shorosh as we call it, of all of the various partsufim that need to be understood with inside of the Kabbalah. Everything from the top where we're talking about Adam Kadmon, all the way down to the very bottom when we're talking about the Nukva. What is shown here is the partsufim called Zeranpin, and its array with its subpartsufs of Leah, Zilpa, Rachel, and Bila. A very advanced concept that takes place inside of the heights of the Lurianic Kabbalah. So, as he mentioned also, there's the secret of the partsufim of Yosef, which is mentioned here. But nonetheless, moving from this contraction, we also see these 4 words here. When it talks about Adam Balial and Adam Kedusha, this is the sod of the verse of what is written, he created the one as well as the other. The general idea behind that is the height of the darkness is the height of the light. Because when the first restriction occurred, it was all in darkness. That's why the Arizal said, the klipa, or the has, precedes the fruit. It's the reason why darkness precedes light. It's the reason why, for example, Cain came before Havel. It's the reason why Esav came before Yaakov. It's the reason why Ishmael came before Yitzhak. And the land of Canaan precedes the land of Israel, because darkness comes first. The very first verse was in darkness. And then what is written? Let there be light. It's written, Vayomer Elohim Yehior v'Yehior. But in the beginning there was no light. It was darkness. Then light. And so therefore the height of the darkness is the height of the light. And that's what he was hinting to Adam Balial and Adam Kedusha. Now, Western occultists who've perverted, as I said, there really is no Western occultism. It's just appropriated Judaism by people that don't understand anything. They call Adam Balial a demon. They have no idea what Balial even means. Bali means nothing. Nothing. So Adam Balial, and how do we know this? Because Sefer Yetzirah tells us 10 spheros from Balima, 10 sephiros from nothing. So therefore Adam Balial means Adam Bali, of the nothing, Al of the upper, meaning Adam of the upper nothing, meaning the principle of potential before manifestation. And so therefore that's the true essence of Adam Balial. And his height is that of Adam Kedusha, which we talk about in Tikkun. Now these are incredibly advanced concepts, and I usually don't talk about any of this stuff because outside of private circles. But for the sake of this live and due to the nature of us showing this elon, I'm giving you guys kind of a play-by-play as to what we're looking at here. Beneath here, you'll see the names of 72, 63, 45, and 52. These are the roots of the 4 letters of the divine name. In Luriana Kabbalah, 72, 63, 45, 52 are personifications of the expansion of God's name. It can be expanded in a variety of ways, and they're symbols of the worlds of Atzilut, Bariah, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. Their total number is 232, which is 231 Im Kolel. It deals with something called the Tehiru, or vacancy. And the Tehiru, or this vacancy, the place of its contraction, also has the same numerical value of 72, 63, 45, 52. So the height of the worlds was the depth of the vacancy. This follows the next pattern. So what's being shown here is the 72, 63, 45, and 52 names. They take the divine pattern of the 22 letters in what we call the Malbush. This Malbush is mentioned in very advanced Kabbalistic texts, for example in Emek, Hamelech, so on and so forth, and it is called the Malbush of the Illimitable. It's when the 22 letters, or the 231 gates, became the garment of Hashem. Now what are these 231 gates and how are they mentioned? It is written in the beginning when Israel arose in thought. This is an allusion to the primordial beginning, for essentially the restriction is seen as the makshava, or the mind. The 231 is hinted in the word Israel. Israel is spelled Yud Shin, which means substance, Yesh. The remaining letters, Reish Lamed Aleph, is 231. This is what the prophet said. He declared the end from the beginning. And this is also why the word Bereshis, in the beginning, begins with the letter Beit, which means 2. Because Bereshis, in the beginning, can be read as second beginning. The first beginning, referring to, as the prophet Isaiah said, he declared the end from the beginning, hinting to the final word of the Torah, Israel. Therefore, this is the divine Malbush. Now, moving on from here, we have another representation of the Simsum, another representation of the restriction. And this particular version of the restriction is an amalgamation of the first letter of all the Sfirot. And this is how it used to be traditionally displayed. So this is a Kaf, which is Keter, and then there's a Chet, which is Chochmah, Beit for Bina, Dalet for Da'as, all the way down to a Mem at the very inner side of it for Malchus. He has over here the 231 gates shown. Now, what is the 231 gates? The 231 gates represent the amount of possibilities between 22 letters to mix with Aleph with every letter with Aleph, Beit with every letter with Beit. We shouldn't think of these things as letters because there actually aren't any manifestations of letters at this point. Rather, they're expressions of principalities. And that these principalities, or laws, for lack of better terms, represent the potential. So these are the potentials intermingling to create a spectrum of possibility. And therefore, the 231 are the number of combinations in which all 22 letters can come into contact with each other at the first order of magnitude. And so we shouldn't see this Aleph with every letter with Aleph, like Sefer Yetzirah says. But rather, Aleph comes from the word Avir, means air. And therefore we should see it as the principle of air, or the principle of gases, with every principle is the principle of gases. We shouldn't see mem and think of it as a letter. We should understand mem means mayim, water. Therefore the principle of liquids with everything with the principle of liquids, so on and so forth. Based off of that understanding, the 231 gates represents the first order of magnitude and the potential of possibility. Nothing can exist without being accounted for. Everything here has to be accounted for in code. Because of course, as we know, we're living inside of a program. Nonetheless, moving forward, this begins to show the process of emanation of what we call the holy, the atik. This is the rosh, or the head. And so what's being shown here are the 7 letters with a tagin that Rabbi Akiva had hinted at. These are Shin, Tet, Nun, Ayin, Zayin, Sadi, and Gimel. These 3 spell Satan. This is Azazel. The 2 Sadiqs are the 2 Mashiachin, and the Gimel is the camel serpent that Samael rode down on. These are the 7 holes in the face. This is the head of the Atik, or the head of God. This is exactly why, just as there are 22 letters that form the skull of the illimitable Holy One, so too you have 22 bones in your skull. There are exactly 22 bones in your skull. Okay? And just as there are 7 that emerge first, which we call the 7 kings of Edom, a very advanced subject, there are 7 holes in our skull. Our 2 eyes, our 2 nostrils, our 2 ears, and our mouth. So there are 22 bones in our skull, and then there are 7 holes from which surface the face. This is God's head beginning to emerge, or at least the malbush of God. Of course, the illimitable essence of it has no form, but nonetheless, the atik. Down below, we see another representation, as he's shown here, of the restriction plus the skull. And so now we see the restriction, but now we have the hard spark, because the illimitable had withdrawn itself when it created that vacancy precisely in the center, where it condensed. The light condensed and created depth. That depth is the height where all of the worlds will come into being. But at the bottom of that depth is a hard spark. The 231 gates is called that hard spark. So this is what he's showing here. Down here is another very advanced subject. The face of the king has a beard. That beard is called the beard of a Rechaim pin. It is a very, very, very lofty subject that is dealt in the either Rabbah and either Zuta of the Zohar. Very few people have ever heard of anything talking about the 13 tikkunim of the beard of a Rechaim pin, which is a very, very high partsuf and the overall structure of Adam covenant. Nonetheless, this is the showing of it. The 22 letters now are arranged in terms of fronts, panim, and acher, backs. So we'll come down just a little further. So what he's showing here now is the emergence of what are called 370 lights. These 370 lights, if you remember what was shown above about the kings of Shin, Tet, Nun, Ayin, Zayin, Sadi, and Gimel, these letters, or these kings that died, then begin to go through a process of tikkun or rectification. That tikkun or rectification comes about through the hard spark, or the light passing through. It's called the shining face of the king. And so if you can imagine a skull with the 22 letters and these holes, and behind it is the glowing light of the illimitable, and it's passing through, we call it the shining face. Now, that shining face, those rays of light, then entered into those letters, which are what those tagin represented are. That's why they're called crowns. The kings died without weapons, and why they're called kings. These letters then began the process of their tikkun, the construction. That construction was about the light that was infused in the hard spark, being 22 in number. Therefore, there are fronts and backs to each of the sfirot. And this is how all the sfirot have all the sfirot, because this is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, and Malkut. And as you can see, this is the roots of many different angels. Now these angels, God forbid, are not here in this realm. It's written he makes the wind his messengers, meaning Ruach. That's at a much lower world. But the root of all the angels takes place here. Because the word king, Malach, is like the word Malachim, an angel. Nonetheless, we can see here Adiriran, Badiran, Gediran, so on and so forth. And you'll see all 22 letters accounted for. 11 on the front, 11 on the back. And the same thing here, 11 front, 11 back, 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 11 front, 11 back. This is all 100% accurate. Now, when it talks about the spreading of the face, the shining face flows through 370 worlds. Sometimes they say 3,700,000 worlds. What is this 370? The answer to that question as to this portion of the elon is that it is 22 times 7 plus 216, which is here. That's what he's showing here. This is what we call the nukva. We call it the Shema Faresh, the 216 or 72 letter name of God. So 72 times 3 is the 216. So the 216 plus the 7 times 22, which are here, equals 370. And these are the 370 individual lights that spread or shine from the face. Now, 99% of you, I would imagine, have never heard of any of these terms. And that's because the Zohar is not something that's publicly taught. It's not something that's publicly studied. It's a very esoteric sefer. And when most people try to study the Zohar, they call it a close practice, so on and so forth. Because it requires essentially a roadmap, as I've been explaining. And again, just for you that are joining in, this Yuri's elon is here. This is Yuri. He came from the Netherlands. And he came to visit to have confirmation on his elon. He will be going back to the Netherlands in the future, in I think a week.
A week from now.
A week, yes. But he came all the way from the Netherlands to have verification on his scroll. This is his scroll. Maybe afterwards I'll share with you some of my scrolls, and you can see a comparison. But this is a demonstration of his attainment in the subject. And this is exactly what's required of Kabbalah. If you say you're a Kabbalist, you will have one of these, but there aren't any. There are people that enjoy studying Kabbalah. There's fans of Kabbalah.
Students.
Yeah, students. Yeah. You can want to study. You can read books on Kabbalah. It doesn't make you a mechubel. To be a real mechubel, you will have this. If you don't have this, then you don't have the right to talk about it. So, okay. We have the moon phases. We have the sun phases. This is the shirosh of the male and the female, zakar v'nukva. And this is the sun and the moon, hinted at in the word marot, the lights, so on and so forth. And so far, from what I am seeing, these right here are what's called the world of nekudim. Nekudim means vowels or points, the world of points. We can see these are the vowels, and they're according to the sfirot, which you should have here. Correct. Kater. That's kamat. Okay, it's spelled kof, mem, tadi, and indeed you have it correct. Kadomayel, Malachiel, Tzoriel. This is all correct.
Yes.
We have patach, that's chokmah. What does patach mean? Open. It's open. That's chokmah. And so we see down here, patach, fe, tav, chet, and this is the first letter of Padael, the first letter of Tomiel, and the first letter of Chesadiel. Now, these 28 letters, right, are the amount of letters of the names of each of the Nikud in the world of points, and it's symbolized by the 28 phases of the moon. These Malachim are not here. Their roots are here. The reason why these angels are mentioned on the outside is because these are the husks. They're the klipot of the internal sharosh. They don't manifest here, just like none of these angels are manifested here. They're just roots in the beard. That's the hairs they come from. And then the sun. And so then the sun is more straightforward. You're going to see the listing of the 12 tribes, the names of the angels above them, and then surrounding this, we're going to have a listing of the various malachim that are going there in the Secret of 72. So, yes, this is incredible. This is incredible. And I see you're all the way up. Well, we won't talk about what that is.
Next. Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and wrap that in. That's incredible. You've done a wonderful job, Achi.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, seeing it firsthand, I see the attention to detail.
Yeah.
A good teacher.
Thank you. So, and then I'll show you one of mine. Perfect. Okay. So we'll go into one of mine and I'll show you. Yuri, you've got that one there? Yeah. Your roll? Okay. Perfect. I think it's this one. So here's a master scroll. You can see these scrolls. They're 45 feet long. They're absolutely massive. And this is really what's required, as I've said. Now, you guys just witnessed Yuri, who traveled from the Netherlands to come visit and demonstrate his attainment, which is an incredible thing. And I'm happy that I'm able to share that with you all here, because this is something that is virtually never seen. Never ever seen. This is usually close practice stuff. Nobody sees this stuff. There's nothing in the public. There's a bunch of tomfoolery going on here on TikTok and YouTube. But tonight, you guys will get a glimpse of the real McCoy. So, I'm going to share with you one of my elons. One of many. I've written 7. Some of them are all over the world. Yes. So, if you guys all recall what you guys just witnessed, this is the master scroll of that. Yes. We won't go through the whole thing. So on the top it says Aleph Melachem. Aleph means 1,000, because there are over 1,000 angels, the roots of over 1,000 angels on the scroll. Okay. Yeah, what he didn't include was the writing. Yeah, we'll get there, I think. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I'll let the lovely Rose give the audience a glimpse.
This is 45 to 50 feet long, by the way.
I think this one's a little bit longer than yours. You're right here. Right there.
You'll get there.
Okay. I won't be able to roll it out all the way, unfortunately. You guys
Yeah, it's too
You guys
long.
will have to go in for this. But here's something incredible. If you guys see the back,
There's a backside,
yeah,
guys.
this is double-sided. Yeah, no, this is not just one-sided. All of my elons are double-sided. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. I'll come from my end. So while I'm wrapping this up, though, I guess Rose, if you'd like to take any random questions that the audience might have, or we're doing.
Do you guys have any questions you would like to ask? Someone said, "What even is this?"
Yeah, I can only imagine scrolling through TikTok and then stumbling upon an elon right in the middle of
That's so massive, yeah.
it. Yeah, and it'd just be, yeah.
Someone said they're in love.
Well, thank you. Well, I can tell you guys, if you guys want to learn the real stuff, not all this tomfoolery going on here, and not all this nonsense that they call Kabbalah, which is an absolute tragedy. The link in my TikTok bio has Skool. It's skool.com/Yira. It is the only place. The only place. I cannot emphasize that enough. I don't sign on to any Kabbalists at all. There are a bunch of buffoonery going on. But if you want to learn the real esoteric mysteries and learn the real divine science, go there. And there's almost 500 lessons, very advanced lessons. And it's very private. It's not for everybody. But if you're looking for the real stuff, go there.
Someone asked, how do they begin the Kabbalah to learn?
Find a Mekubel. Find a real Mekubel. Not a rabbi. Just because you're a rabbi doesn't mean you're a Kabbalist. And definitely not some guy on TikTok. Although I'm on TikTok, so it's kind of, a contradiction. But there's a lot of spiritual psychosis. There's a lot of danger in learning these high materials. And And it is such an advanced and noble science. For you to actually understand and know it, you have to be qualified. If you're not qualified, you can cause a lot of spiritual damage. And there's a lot of people out here using it. My advice to you would be stay away from the Western occult system because it's entirely corrupted. It's basically just massive cultural appropriation. They just take the tree of life and smack it onto everything. They take, it's terrible, terrible.
Someone asked if you can repeat where they can learn.
That's skool.com, skool.com /Yira, Y.I.R.A.H. You can find it in the link in my TikTok bio. Unfortunately, I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok. Sometimes they love me, other times they hate me. So my videos are suppressed into oblivion. People who follow me probably know that I put the tag, no tags. The algorithm has chosen you to see this because I've realized that, TikTok doesn't like spreading light. So we'll put this one here. We'll go to one more elon to share with you guys. Now, I'll give a brief introduction to Malachi here. Mal? Yeah, he's very camera shy.
Yeah.
He's rocking the Versace shoes though. He's this young man is very prodigious. He doesn't look that way, but don't let his looks deceive you. He's very prodigious. Yes,
And he's the best artist.
Yes. He's studied the Kabbalah for a very long time now, and he has written multiple scrolls by himself. And not only that, he personally assisted me with the creation of this particular scroll, which you guys are about to see. And this scroll right here, to give you guys some context, was written in 8 days. The scroll you just saw was written in 7 days. 7 days, mind you. But this scroll, 8 days. So as I unravel it to show you, keep that in mind. This was compiled in 8 days. And mind you, no pencil. No pencil. Okay? And this young man here assisted me in the creation of this scroll. His name is actually also listed at the very end of it as well, so to give you some context. Eventually he'll start doing TikTok lives and teaching and so on and so forth very soon. So will Yuri, but we'll go here. So, you want to go to the front side or up to the...
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Okay, I'll let you come on this side. You gotta scroll that up. Let's walk back that way. Go towards the door. Let's see how much of it we can get rolled up. It's all in Aramaic and Hebrew. The other elon I did write some English. Yeah, keep going that way. We'll get to the door. But this is what real Kabbalah looks like. If you don't see this,
Thank you, Mastering the Matrix.
yeah. If you don't see their work, you should just be very cautious. As I said, I don't know any Kabbalists on YouTube or on TikTok. There's people playing dress-up Kabbalists, but they only make themselves look like a fool. Abraham Lincoln said it's best to close your mouth and be thought of as a fool than to open it and be proven as one.
Someone said, wish I could read it.
Well, there's Skool. If you
Skool.com /Yira.
Yeah. You wanna learn? Go there. My videos are in English, so you know, and anything I read in Hebrew, I translate for you. So.
Someone said this redefines beauty.
Wow, that's a compliment. Thank you. I can't even open the entire thing.
No, it's too long.
Oh.
Let me show you guys how long it actually is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mind you, 8 days. 8 days.
8 days.
No pencil. See, no border repeats. Every border is different. You look at the details on the borders. Everything is unique. Everything is different.
Someone said, is it true that only people over 35 can study Kabbalah?
Nope, that's what gatekeepers told you. Yeah, that's what human beings. That's what rabbis who were heretics, or at least their ancestors were heretics, because they followed Shabtai Zevi, a false Mashiach, and to prevent other people from falling into the same heresy, they told, "Don't read the Zohar." Yeah, don't listen to those people. Okay. So I'll wrap this thing up very carefully, very slowly. And if you guys have any questions while I'm wrapping it up, feel free to ask. Or maybe I can expound them. This has been a very, very special and unique kind of live. Yeah, I take them up that way. You see, they can see everything.
Okay. Someone asked, how long did you study this?
My entire life, almost. So, at least my entire adult life, certainly. I'm 34 now. So I've been studying it 14 to 16 years.
He didn't get this, he made this. Someone said, how did it start for you?
That's a great question. Wow, that's a really great question. Started from two sides, I guess. One side is through yichas, or lineage, a very hidden lineage I talk about sometimes. And another was through what some people would call a divine experience or awakening, or there's different terms for it. But the lineage part is what led to all of it.
Eight days, yes.
But this is what you should see when somebody talks about Kabbalah. Kabbalah is a very holy, royal art. And if somebody is teaching it, they should have an elon. Because it's what's called a tikkun, a key, right? And Kabbalah is a divine science. It's like mathematics. And they should have the science. And it's always by elonot, a scroll. So I'd like to show you guys an example of an elon, because maybe I know the Western world has never even probably heard this term, elon. What is it, elon? Elon Musk? No. But
Someone said your astrological chart must be very interesting.
I was born on the same day as Krishna. If you can figure that one out, you'll know. You'll be able to look it up. Probably said too much.
Someone said before you roll it up, can you explain what it is briefly?
A map of the worlds, a Kabbalistic map of the worlds. At the beginning of this live, we did a review on Yuri, who's standing over here, who traveled in here from the Netherlands, and we verified his elon and checked it for accuracy. He traveled all the way from the Netherlands here to the United States. I'm not gonna say where, but all the way to the U.S. And he brought his elon to have it verified and checked. And he has a YouTube now called
8 days, Menge.
Yes, 8 days it was created. And he has a YouTube channel called Kabbalah Academy. Kabbalah
Yes.
Academy.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think it's on TikTok too, yes?
It's on TikTok too. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe do you have on there?
I will send the link. Yes.
Or show,
Yes.
maybe show the page.
Yeah,
and they
show
can
your page.
Yeah.
They can see it.
It's written in Yuri ben Yirah, written in Hebrew to make it easy. And I'll say hi in the chat.
Okay. Perfect. We'll do two more things. So first, you guys must have a lot of questions. Who else has an elon? There aren't very many people that have elons, but elon is the hallmark of attainment. If you have an elon, and then you can demonstrate that you really are a mekubel, because every mekubel can look at an elon and know it, because they're all the same world art. You can. I don't want to say it's not a secret club or a secret society or whatever. That's not really the right term for it. But nonetheless, it is. I can look at an elon from 1,000 years ago and read it perfectly fine. And if they came here from 1,000 years ago, they could read it too. This right here is a golden elon.
This is his TikTok, by the way. He's invited as a guest.
So this here is a golden elon.
Yeah.
You can see it's engraved in gold and it covers all of the world. It's a map where you can zoom in and show them to the top to the bottom. And it goes through all of the emanatory processes. Perfect. Yeah. And then I'll show you one more. We have Ginzei. Okay, we'll show Ginzei. Okay, let's go back over to the table. We'll go to the wall. And we'll go through these. I'll just give you guys a quick glimpse of what real Kabbalah looks like. Okay, so most of you guys probably heard the term Kabbalah. Maybe you know the tree of life, maybe you know Sefirot, maybe you know all that stuff, right? And that's fine because that's what the Western people have stolen. I'm going to give you a glimpse of the real science right now. And what I'm about to show you is the real Bible code, because Kabbalah, it means to receive. It means the revelation that God gave to Moshe on Har Sinai about the Torah. What I'm about to show you is all in the Torah, meaning the first 5 books of the Bible. Except when people here in the Western world have a Bible study, they think whatever they want to think, right? They have their own ideas. But the ancient system, I'll show you. Okay, let's go take a look at this. This right here is called Y.I.R.A.H. So if you want to study true Kabbalah, I'm going to show you. So we talked about Simsum, restriction, Techomim, the abysses. We saw that on the Elon. Okay, the restrictions and the creations of the Goyim, right? The world, Y.I.R.A.H, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to flip through the book, and you guys can see all the partsuits. So at this level, you'll see that everything is almost no words at all, as you guys can see. So this is what true Kabbalah looks like. It's very advanced. It takes many, many, many years of study, and the proper and right study. You know, when people think Kabbalah, they think like Golden Dawn. I don't even know, but that stuff is all lies and corruption. But this is the real McCoy stuff. It's very technical. It's very advanced science, and in order for you to study, it takes many, many, many years. And it's important that when you do study it, the person you're learning from has the work. You need to see the work. If you don't see that work, you should not put your spiritual journey in jeopardy for trying to learn things, because it's hard to unlearn false things. It's easy to learn new things if what you're learning is the proper thing, but it's hard to unlearn the wrong things. And there's, as I said, there aren't any Kabbalists on the internet right now. Not that I see. I don't see any Kabbalists on YouTube. No, it's a shameful that there are people that call themselves Kabbalists on there, but they're not. They play dress up Kabbalah like I don't know, like a person faking to be a police officer or something. You can be a rabbi, that's fine. Doesn't mean you're a Kabbalist. And then of course it's way worse in the occult world. Just stay away from the Western esotericism. But most of you guys have probably never seen anything like this. But this is what real Kabbalah looks like. This is Kabbalah. Okay, so you guys can get a glimpse of it. This is the real stuff. And it takes a lifetime of study. Essentially, most people have to be born into it. And these are the real enlightened ones, the illuminated ones, you know, whatever the different terms for it. But this is the real Bible code, the God science. So I'm going to take into maybe one more part to you guys, and then we'll go ahead and call it real brief. We'll go on to Ginzei Chaim, and then we'll call it. This is another book, very advanced, same process. You're going to see very advanced partufim, tikkunim, interaction, so on and so forth. It's a very advanced science. And this is what you should be looking for. So, let's see. Yeah, there's the face that we were talking about that was on the Elon. We see the Partsufim of Y.I.R.A.H pin, its layout, so on and so forth. And I think this Sefer has a glimpse of an elon. Yeah, here we go. An elon, these are the 231 gates that was shown earlier in the video. We have the different simsums, so on and so forth, the first and the second. We have the levels describing the kings and the lights of the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth of Adam Kadmon, which is quite a bit of writing there. The Partsufim or construct of Zeranpin. We have the arrangements of the worlds of Beriah, the worlds of Yetzirah, and then ultimately the worlds of Asiya, which all of these were shown on that golden scroll at the beginning of this. So, yeah, I'm happy that we were able to get in through this and kind of show you guys a little bit of there. Thank you very much, Yuri, for traveling all the way from the Netherlands to have your scroll verified. It's wonderful, beautiful, very technical, very precise. You spared no detail on that, so I can officially certify that. Again, he shared with you guys Kabbalah Academy. You guys can go check him out. He has free videos on YouTube, free videos on TikTok. And I think you'll be teaching from your elon soon.
Yes.
Absolutely. You definitely merit that. Of course, there's the mysterious Malachi. He too has a channel on here. When he's ready, he'll be the most illuminated person on TikTok talking about this stuff, and hopefully will help sort out the riffraff. For those of you guys that want to learn about this material, again, you guys can find in my TikTok bio, Skool, skool.com/Y.I.R.A.H. There's a link in my TikTok bio if you want to learn more about this material yourself from an authentic source with the actual science. But okay, well, that was behind the scenes look. I wasn't planning on really doing this live, but why not share with the people the progress of your scroll, right? Give them at least a glimpse of what's really going on out there. As David HaMelech said, open my eyes and I behold the wonders of your Torah. Thank you all for being here. Many blessings. Amen. Shalom.